Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the Noon News from Montana's news leader.
Good afternoon, and thanks so much for joining us on this Friday. I'm Aja Goare. A shooting at Central Michigan University this morning leaves 2 people dead. A gunman opened fire at Campbell Hall Dormitory, where initial reports indicate the suspect killed his parents. Police say the suspect, 19-year-old James Eric Davis Jr., is still at large. The victims are not students, and campus police believe the shooting stemmed from a domestic dispute. A nearby hospital is on lockdown, and a shelter-in-place is in effect for the university, where about 20,000 students are enrolled. President Trump invited the NRA's top lobbyist to the White House last night for a talk. This comes as the president said lawmakers shouldn't be afraid to pass new gun laws, even if the NRA is opposed. CBS's Nikki Batiste has more.
President Trump invited NRA officials to the White House for a private discussion Thursday evening.
He wants to talk to all of the big stakeholders in this process.
The meeting comes after the president publicly pushed lawmakers to raise the age to buy assault weapons to 21, despite NRA objections.
It doesn't make sense that I have to wait till I'm 21 to get a handgun, but I can get this weapon at 18. I don't know. So I was just curious as to what you did in your bill.
We didn't address it, Mr. President. Look, I think
you know why? Because you're afraid of the NRA, right?
But that tough talk was on Wednesday. Today, the president and the NRA appear to be on the same page.
I don't think the NRA has had concerns with this president. He's been very committed to supporting the Second Amendment, but also looking for ways that we can promote school safety and reduce gun violence.
The president tweeted he had a great meeting in the Oval Office with the NRA. And the NRA's chief lobbyist, Chris Cox, responded, the president and vice president support the Second Amendment, support due process, and don't want gun control. That will probably come as little surprise to Democrats who were not convinced by last Wednesday's meeting.
I think it's just as likely that the White House personnel will be up here in the next few days doing the NRA's bidding.
Lawmakers are struggling to find a solution to gun violence in the wake of last month's school shooting in Florida. Nikki Batiste, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The president also says he wants to increase mental health services as a way to keep mentally ill people from buying guns. Here in Montana, 2 men serving life sentences for the 1994 murder of a Helena area woman could soon go free after new DNA evidence points to another killer who's already behind bars. A jury convicted Paul Jenkins and Fred Lawrence of the 1994 murder of Donna Marr, who was kidnapped and beaten to death outside a bar west of Helena. But over the past few years, the Montana Innocence Project reviewed the evidence and uncovered stunning information. New DNA tests on crime scene evidence show the DNA actually belongs to David Wayne Nelson. Nelson was convicted of the brutal murders of a woman and her son in Deer Lodge 2 years ago. He beat Greg Giannotti with a hammer and strangled the man's mother, Beverly, with electrical wire, then dumped their bodies outside Deer Lodge. He stole 17 bars of silver and was arrested after he tried to pawn them in Missoula. Nelson eventually pleaded guilty to both murders and received 2 life sentences. A Nebraska judge rules the Roundup man known to the FBI as the AK-47 bandit is competent to stand trial. Richard Gathercole recently pleaded not guilty to 6 felony charges for allegedly shooting at a Nebraska state trooper during a chase last summer. The FBI believes Gathercole is the elusive serial bank robber who targeted at least 5 banks in 4 states. The suspect was at large for 5 years before he was arrested in Muscle County for a DUI. When federal authorities made the connection, they raided Gathercole's home in Roundup and found explosives and several firearms. Those weapons matched the ones used in the bank heists. Gathercole is likely to face additional charges in the other states, including shooting a California police officer. Police say 5 Billings children abducted by their non-custodial mother Thursday may be on the way to Wyoming. The kids were on a temporary trial visitation when they were taken. The mother, 34-year-old Tanisha Medicine Horse, is known to use drugs and has experienced drug-induced delusions, including paranoia. She's described as 5'6", 180 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. Her children, Alana, Kayla, Asia, Tony, and Julian, range in age from 3 to 11 years old. Anyone with information should contact police. Governor Steve Bullock saw firsthand the impact of severe weather on Montana's Blackfeet Indian Reservation in Browning. The governor declared a state of emergency there on Tuesday. Bullock flew to the reservation with the Montana National Guard on Thursday to meet with tribal leaders. The governor toured the reservation by bus and witnessed some snowdrifts taller than the tops of homes and snowbanks so tall they block the view from the bus. Deliveries are being made for propane, firewood, medicine, and food. Meanwhile, the small Montana town of Hart Butte is also buried under snowdrifts taller than most buildings. MTN's Jason Laird shows us how the tiny community has banded together to help each other.
The Blackfeet Nation, by no means strangers to harsh elements, but conditions like this have the community banding together.
It's something that we've never really lost, is to take care of one another.
Instilled and passed down through generations, a sense of pride, a sense of community.
The pride is probably the biggest thing that keeps us going.
Faced with adverse weather conditions, the town of Hart Butte has joined together, helping stranded residents unable to leave their homes.
We're one big family, and when stuff like this happens, snowstorms, disasters, community comes together for everybody.
Volunteers lended a helping hand at Hart Butte Community Center Thursday. With roads completely covered in snow, many residents have gone without food and supplies for days.
All we can do is pull together and help each other the best that we can. And that's where our traditional ways come in.
Relatives help relatives, friends help friends, people help people, you know. And that's what makes me so happy to be from here.
A nation founded on pride and community, coming together when it matters most. Jason Laird, MTN News, Hart Butte.
And Jason tells us food has been shipped from as far away as Utah to help stranded residents. We turn now to the weather scene with Ed McIntosh, and we stay in that area where the snow is causing severe road problems.
That's right. We've got another round of snow moving in, Asia. And here's a look from around the Sweetgrass area, which if you lean too far to one way, you're in Canada, but you can hardly see anything going on around there. Those are the whiteout conditions we've been dealing with, and it's right in that north central portion of the state. There's Great Falls at the bottom of your screen. Basically, this area just clearing out of Dutton, Conrad, continuing to move up along US 2. It's going to continue to create visibilities less than a quarter of a mile over the next couple of hours in Glacier and Ponderay, Toole counties, and Liberty County. So use a lot of caution in that area. Restrict travel for the short term. More on the weekend forecast, which includes more talk of snow coming up in a few minutes.
Said we'll check back in. Montana Congressman Greg Gianforte is officially in the running for another term in the U.S. House. Gianforte paid his filing fee Thursday to run for re-election. So far, Gianforte is the only Republican in the race. 5 Democrats and a Libertarian have filed to challenge him this fall. Plans to refurbish the Veterans Memorial in Helena are now underway. The memorial was first dedicated in 1943 and rebuilt in 1980. It has been deteriorating for years, and many of the names are faded or stained. A committee is planning for an improved monument. Now they're asking the community to weigh in on what the memorial should look like and how additional names should be chosen. A video created by the Arley Warriors basketball team to raise awareness about suicide is going viral. This video is an effort to encourage people to seek help if they're in crisis. It's already been viewed over 104,000 times. The team said in a Facebook post they will dedicate this season's basketball tournament to suicide prevention. Nearly 7,000 people have shared the video on Facebook. Still ahead on the noon news, nor'easter punishes the East Coast with snow and wind. We'll take you there for the latest. But first, Ed has our own dose of winter weather. Stay with us.
You're watching MTN News with Aja Goare, Storm Tracker weather with Ed McIntosh, and farm and ranch news from the Northern Egg Network. This is the